Hello everybody! I want to talk about Sightwitch today. I just finished reading it and I loved it. It was actually my favorite book in the Witchland series. I haven't read Blood Witch yet though. Basically, it is Riper's journal entries during the time when she was meeting Cullen and getting to know Cullen. It starts off with a letter from Riper to Cullen, and it's so interesting, and there's all kinds of illustrations. Majority of it takes place in, I think it's like a monastery, or it's a place where all of these Sightwitch nuns or Sightwitch sisters are waiting to be called on by a goddess, and Riper is there, and she is the only Sightwitch who has not been called on by the goddess at that point, and she just keeps waiting and waiting and waiting to be called by this goddess. She just feels kind of inadequate, and she feels like she's never going to be able to achieve her life dreams and her life goals. Riper as a character is super deep, and her best friend, her thread sister as a character, is also super deep, and so is Cullen. Oh my god, Cullen is the funniest, wittiest character in this book, and like I didn't pick up on his like wit and sarcasm and humor from Truthwitch, but in Sightwitch, like you really pick up on the nuances of his character, and I absolutely loved that about this book as well. Riper kind of has a pet bird, or she has a bird companion named the Rook, and I love this bird so much. It gave me serious Chainsaw vibes from the Raven Boys, but it was just so much fun to have a main character who has a bird companion. It just added so much to the story, and it was so interesting, and the bird was kind of sentient, and it was kind of like its own character too, and it could communicate, but it couldn't talk, but like it could figure out how to communicate with humans like really accurately, and you could almost always understand what the bird was trying to say just by its actions and what it was doing. The main story follows Riper as she is struggling with not being called by the goddess, and she's struggling with her place in the world, and she's struggling with, you know, what she's supposed to be, and like wanting to be this Sightwitch but still not being called and not feeling like she has the calling of the goddess. So there's that. And then people around the monastery start disappearing, and these disappearances are happening. Then her best friend goes missing, and her thread sister is one of the people who don't come back, and so she wants to find her thread sister again. But then there's also like the Riper meets Cullen plotline and how their relationship builds. Through Riper's eyes, you see what's happening with Cullen, and you can see what's happening with Merrick. You kind of get an idea of what's happening other places in the world as well. So it's so interesting just the way everything moves back and forth in time, and all these journal entries are combined together, and all these letters and all these drawings, and even like maps of these secret tunnels, and the Rook, the bird, and just everything in this story was so fun and so interesting. The plot line was so complex, and it just built on itself. And by the end, just, oh, it just made me want to pick up Blood Witch right now. If you're on the fence about whether or not you want to pick up Sightwitch, I highly recommend it. I think it's worth it. It's a really fast read. You could read it in a couple of hours. And just the plot line and the characters are so in-depth, and they're so worth it. And Susan Dennard is such a talented writer that you're not going to be disappointed with Sightwitch. Thank you so much for watching my video. I will see you in the next video. Bye!